The price of XRP is being manipulated by banks, and they're not telling you that your XRP, which is currently worth $2.20, will soon be worth over $300. It's possible that the price will start going up as soon as 24 hours from now. And the huge amount of market manipulation that happened just minutes ago when XRP shot up to $2.30 in seconds makes this very clear. This is because a very large company just bought XRP. And we're talking about huge numbers. It is believed that $650 trillion will be added to the XRP list. BlackRock is said to be buying $9 trillion in XRP in the next 45 days by the end of 2025. This by itself will make XRP worth $300 to $400, but it's been proven. Forbes has said in public that they think XRP will hit more than $58,000 a token. We've been put on a whole new level of price, and it's been proven. This is true because these institutions want you to sell your XRP for very little money so that they can buy up all of it and then wait for it to settle at a high price of $50,000 to $60,000. Several venture investors and large management firms have already set the price of XRP at between $10,000 and $35,000 and told the public about it. The company in question is one of the biggest in the world. Now, Forbes is using that information to set the price of XRP. Just listen to this. How we get a lot of people to adopt, guys. Everyone needs to learn. You may have missed it, but Forbes magazine put out a story for XRP to hit $58,000 for a short time and then quickly took it down. Yes, each coin costs $58,000, not $5.80 or $58, 58,000. Music. Now ask yourself why one of the biggest business news sites would send out that number. Let me explain. It's not by chance. It's not a hype. Its weight and what it can do. It will need to be able to handle trillions of dollars in real-time transactions if XRP is to really be the bridge currency for the new financial system, allowing cross-border payments, tokenized assets, swaps, and CBDCs. The only way that could happen is if XRP prices went up. A $2 symbol can't be used to send trillions of dollars about, but at 58,000, you only need a few tokens to quickly settle huge deals. This is how the new system gets bigger. And the fact that they took down that story makes me think we're closer than most people think to that moment when the switch is flipped. Someone said the quiet part, and everything you're hearing is true because data shows that the market for XRP has been manipulated. And the best example of that was today, right now, you're looking at a picture that was changed to trick the market. It's very clear. But data shows that big banks like BlackRock and JP Morgan are changing the price of X on the market. Again, it's clear that that makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that BlackRock, a huge company, had a report leaked that said they were going to buy $9 trillion worth of XRP. You should really understand how big that is and how much that would affect the price of XRP. Also, we shouldn't forget that all of this could happen in the next 12 hours. When a lot of money starts to flow into XRP, that XRP is being looked at right now to replace the whole US SWIFT system, which is worth more than $1.5 quadrillion. We expect a big change for the XRP ledger on November 17th at 8 p.m. BST. This is because the Rail ecosystem, which uses the XRP ledger, is getting ready to make a big news about the Rail token, which is built on the XRP ledger and aims to reach $1 trillion market around the world. Even Brad Geo, CEO of Ripple, gave hints when he said that the days of 24-hour transfers are over and that deals will soon be settled in seconds. Also, pay attention when I say that the XRP system will make people rich. I mean, the XRP system makes it possible to send and receive huge amounts of money. We're talking about trillions of dollars here, and the XRPL is making that possible. At the moment, we're paying so much attention to what XRP is doing in terms of price that we're forgetting that the XRP launcher is home to many projects and that people are making millions of dollars from other XRP ledger projects. But this in particular is huge. On November 17th, the Real Fight ecosystem will make an important news about the Real token. The Real coin is now very big. And you need to understand that this is really about what will happen when $650 trillion is added to the XRP record. Specifically, it will affect two important cryptocurrencies, the Real token and the XRP cryptocurrency, because it's clear that XRP will keep that money and then transfer it straight into the Real token. From that point of view, it's clear that there will be a huge supply shock, and this is where all the money is going to land. They are talking about a very low supply of only 22 million phase one supply. This is where future wealth will be made. The most that can be made is 1 billion. But if you look at it in a bigger picture, demand will be high. There won't be enough supply, so it will end up, that is, there will be a huge demand but not enough supply, which will cause a huge supply shock. Because of this, the price has to go up, because when there is a lot of demand and not enough supply, the price has to go up. That's why the price will go through the roof. Also, we're talking about huge numbers. I really mean it. Look at what I'm about to show you. In this case, XRP has the ability to literally soar to $11,000. The real coin, on the other hand, is said to go from 2 cents to $64,500, because once more, if just 1% of that $650 trillion market comes into it, there will be a huge supply shock, the price will have to give in, and it will end up going through the roof. That's why I call myself a nice bag. And I mean that a lot of these experts and pundits are doing the same thing. There's no doubt that this analyst is huge. She has 87,000 fans, and she's talking about real going to $65,000, which is crazy. But everything is very, very positive, because when you look for projects, you want real-world, multi-trillion-dollar solutions that work in the real world. And most importantly, you want something that will change the way technology is used and is on the XRP ledger. And the real code checks every box, which is another reason why you can see there will be a huge net. In fact, they already use mass admin. The project has been going for 2 to 3 months and is now up hundreds of thousands of percentage points. That's why these numbers are crazy, and they'll keep going up. I mean, this is just the beginning. The price will go through the roof once this thing is listed on centralized exchanges. Right now, there isn't a mass marketing effort, and it hasn't been listed on any centralized exchanges, so it's pretty hard to get into. However, the price has already gone up by hundreds of thousands of percentages since launch. So what we're about to see is that huge change where trillions of dollars are put into the project and then it is listed on centralized markets. On the other hand, the real hook is going to see a huge, huge, huge rise. This is another reason why people are very hopeful, which is why some people are talking about going from $2 to $3,300 to $65,000. When there is that much demand, like right now, when any project is listed in the world asset sector on Binance or any of the other exchanges, most of them go into the hundreds of billions in market cap. If that exact supply shock happens, the price will skyrocket to tens of thousands of dollars for a real token. This is especially true for early adopters, like those who bought Bitcoin for $1 and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000 times that amount, or those who bought Bitcoin for pennies and now it's worth 120,000